So good afternoon. So we so this topic is about Assure model, which is select media and materials and utilize media. Select media and materials. It's important to have a systematic plan for using media demands, so the media be selected systematic at first. So each selection has three processes, which is choosing an appropriate media format that is suitable for carrying out method, deciding on the appropriate method for the given learning task, and selecting, modifying, and designing the specific materials within that format. So, I don't know. So choosing a media format. So media format is a physical form in which a message is incorporated and displayed. Media formats include, for example, flip charts, slides, audio, film or video, and computer multimedia, in which it could be used for audio visual learning, and then also a video presentation. So each has different strengths and limitations in terms of the types of message that can be recorded and displayed. So it is important in choosing a media format, because it is a very complex task because of the following: vast array of media available, the infinite variety among learners, and the objectives to be pursued. So obtaining specific materials, select, modify, or design. Having decided what media format suits your immediate instructional objective, you face the problem of finding specific materials to convey the lesson. In other words, even if you're gonna find a specific instructional materials that is used for your reporting, or simply a demo, it can be difficult to find in the internet to find the immediate learning for the students to gain the knowledge. So selecting available materials. So in other words, sources. The majority of instructional materials used by teachers and trainers are off the shelf, that is already ready-made and available from school, district, or company collections, or other easily accessible sources. Or maybe you could find an available and reliable sources, not only from the school, district, or a company. It can be found on the vlogs, their vlogs, their the reflections coming from their blog. So it can be used for the sources, or maybe the articles, in which it can be useful for selecting materials. Survey of sources. Your first step might be to survey some of the published media reference guides to get a general idea of what is available. The decision about whether to use a particular piece of instructional material depends on several factors. So when it comes to do a copy and paste, you should also remember to credit the word from either from the author, which of the source, where do you get that sources, so that may we so that we can know about the a certain topic, and where did they get the inspiration from, so it can be explained. Modifying available materials. If you cannot locate any suitable materials, you can always modify what is available. This can be both challenging and creative. In other words, make your own words. When you search on the internet, you will think you will first read that, and then later you can do your own words. Designing new materials. It is a certain basic considerations that must be taken into account when designing new materials. That is what I use right now. It's a PowerPoint, and then I do a designing a new materials for reporting. So there, for example, the objectives. What do you want your students to learn? So the objectives, the audience, what is the characteristics of your learner? The cost, is sufficient money available in your budget to meet the cost? The technical expertise. Do you have a necessary to expertise to design and produce the kind of materials do you wish to use? And then there's equipment. Do you have the necessary equipment or produce to use the materials, or do you intend to design? Facilities. If you design calls for use of special facilities or for preparation or use of your materials, are such facilities available? So and then the last is the time. Can you afford to spend whether time necessary to design and produce the kind of materials you have in mind? So when it comes to using a materials, it should be like, it should be whether simple. It should, when you present a material, it should be the, you should know about the budget of your materials. What is the objective of what you can learn? What should you do? The audience, it should be focused on the, it should be understandable for the audience to learn. So utilize methods, media, and materials. So here's the utilization. So utilization of the media and materials, this step is where you develop your plan for implementing your media and materials. For each type of media or materials, the media or material into your lesson to help your learners meet the lesson's objective. So in other words, when you discuss when you discuss a lesson, it should be appropriate. It should be matched for your lesson's objective. So utilization, it has four procedures, which is preview materials. No instructional materials should be used blind. That's why during the selection process, you should have determined the materials in which are appropriate for your audience and objectives. What When it comes to materials, it should be appropriate for your lesson. For example, science. For example, in science, in the project, you will discuss the eight planets, and you should bring a material, an instructional materials like the diorama of the eight planets and etc. So next is practice the presentation. After viewing the materials, you should practice your portion of the presentation. However, do not over practice or the presentation will sound canned. When it comes to before you do the reporting, you should understand about the presentation that you have assigned. So 3, prepare for the environment. So prepare the environment is pretty important as well, since when it comes to a reporting in report audio, like audio reporting, like this laptop, it should be required to have in a darkened room with in which there is a convenient power supply and access to light switches. So it must be important, like in the AV room or in a classroom or in any place where you should present all of your presentation. And lastly is, yeah, of course, the present the material. This is what you've been preparing for. So you will want to make the most of it. In terms of this is a showmanship. Instructors should be able to direct attention in the classroom. When you present the materials in the report, let's not forget that it should be explained. It should be explained, utilize what kind of materials that you ever used to make the audience or maybe the students to understand. So let's not forget that this 4 is very important when it comes to do a report. So that's why it's called utilization. So whether you will modify your presentation or not, it is important to do a procedure. So that is all. Thank you.